Well, good evening. Good evening to you, one and all. I was looking to see what the good person on the TV was talking about, and it's clear. Yeah, never mind. I'm not even going to go there. It's clear you don't have much to say. Um, but we're just grateful to God for those of you who are sharing with us on today. Um, we just want to give a little time for you to be able to come on board, and in that way we can move forward with our study for tonight. I am just looking so forward to you being with us and watching God show Himself mighty as He always does. That's just what He does and the way He does things. And so we are grateful to God for you, grateful to God for all of you who are sharing with us. Hey, Angie, how are you? Um, Thea, all is well. Tanika, good to see you on today. I am going to go ahead and share this. Excellent. I'm so glad I finally got it right, Lavernon. Dorothy, good to see you. Jaleesa, I see you. Tom, I see you. I'm getting ready to start this watch party on the other one. Rosalind, um, thank you. Thank you, Dorothy. I appreciate that so much. Just grateful. Um, Even in the midst of being quarantined, still grateful. Brandon, and how are you? Good to see so many of you that are coming on board, and we thank God for you. Okay, I see that it has done so. So we're gonna go over here so we can see if we can pull up those of you who will be watching on the watch party so we can see all of you as well. Erica, good to see you. I hear you, Tom. I hear you, Nancy. Good to have you on board with us right now. Grateful to God. Carolyn Williams, good to have you. Uh, um, I don't know who's typing that, but go ahead and share. Deetra, good to see you this evening. Thank you so much, Nancy. Minister Avery, I don't know who's typing. Now that's funny. But we're grateful to God for you being with us. Oh, it's the closed caption. That's what Gladys was talking about. Um, and I have no clue how to cut it off, how to cut it on, and it's only coming through. Let me see. I have no clue where it's coming from. So, since I have no clue where it's coming from, Thomas, good to have you with us. I don't know how to cut it off. I don't know how to shut it off because it is not showing me. Oh, got it. Now that was fascinating. Good evening, Cynthia. Good to have you. Good to see you. I came on a little earlier than normal. Uh, Praying for you and those issues with your sinuses. Just grateful to God. Good evening, Carletta. How are you? Just grateful to God for so many of you that are coming on and to share with us on today. We're going to start in about 4 minutes, and then we'll be ready to roll. Okay. And we will go from there. Hey, Kim, how are you? Carolyn Johnson, good to see you. Um, I got all my heaters on downstairs in the basement, so it's a little warm down here. But all is well. All is well. Okay, now I know I'm doing the right thing now, so I'm in good shape. Cora, Lady Harrison. Okay. Yeah, Nancy, Gladys told me about the captioning coming on, and I had no clue it was on, but it comes on the watch party. And so I'm sitting up here looking at this, and I just happen to bring it up on my other computer, and I'm going, oh, who is this typing all of this stuff in here? And come to find out, it was the closed captioning that was on, and I didn't know it. I didn't realize it because I'm going, well, who's typing up all of this stuff? Then I started reading it. I'm like, oh, that's what I'm saying. And I don't know. I don't know. Valerie, how are you? Good to see y'all. Pat, don't forget, for those of you who got the, hey Gladys, I figured it out. I figured it out, okay? And somebody else had told me about it too. I think, oh, I can't think who else told me about this, the closed captioning that was coming on. Um, so we're just grateful. We're grateful. We're grateful. Myrna, good to see you. Juliet, good to have you with us on tonight. Grateful, grateful, grateful. I got 2 minutes, and I will be ready to roll. 2 minutes to go here. Um, just grateful and thankful for so many of you who are joining us and coming on board. Elder Boundary, I see you. Judge Rob, I see you. Grateful, just grateful. I'm trying to go back to see if I missed anybody. And once I get rolling, I was enjoying myself so much. I was watching Pastor Hurd as he was doing his Bible presentation, and he got caught up and got all happy. Hey James, how are you this evening? And he got so happy he said, I sure wish I had my organ player here so he could do a little doo-doo-doo. He was just gone. And I loved it. Barbara, good to see you. Jeanette, good to see you. Debbie, glad all is well with each and every one of you. Trying to see to make sure. Sheila, good to have you on. I'm going to leave this and go to something else. Laverne, okay, gotcha. Laverne, good to see you this evening. Okay, people will come on as they come on. Don't forget, for those of you who got the robocall, that we will be having our Zoom video chat prayer at 8 o'clock, okay? So, normally, what I would do is I would teach on experiencing God, and I was going to continue that. Yeah, all is well with us. We're trying to do what we need to do to be still and not to be running around all over the place, which is not many places we can run to at this particular time. Hey, Angie, how are you? Angie Harris. You know, I got Angie's and all kind of people, and I got to make sure that I attach the last name to it. And hey, Katrina, good to see you. Denise Freisen, John, good to have you on with us tonight. So I normally would do the Experiencing God presentation, but with us being in the midst of this coronavirus pandemic, with all that is happening and all that is going on and the struggles that are taking place, the Lord moved me in a different direction. And I believe that the reason he did so is it's overwhelmingly important, Dr. Baber, that we understand that God is still by our side. Hey, Charlene, good to see you this evening. Uh, I've been talking to and dealing with and Walina, see you coming on board, people and if we could just Doris and Jeanette and Will, Minister Will, if we could just be honest, and that's all I want. I just want some level of honesty to take place, Michelle, as we deal with this issue. Um, it is beginning to take. Hey, John, it's beginning to take its toll on everybody. Now let's not clown with this. Let's not play games with this. I'll have Katrina get in touch with you, Pat, so that you could be able to do that. Christine, I've talked to people, not face to face, because you know we can't do that now. I have come in contact with people, not face to face, who are struggling because of isolation. They're struggling because, hey, Pastor Scott, they can't get out like they want to. They can't go. The only place they can go is like gas stations and grocery stores. Their ability to shop has been terminated. Their ability to go to the parks, recreation, Rosalind, all of these things have been terminated. Hey, Daryl, how are you this evening? Everything excellent, Veronica. Good to know that everything is working. I got a text message from Lavernon telling me that the YouTube is running, and Veronica just told me that the website is running. You just don't know how happy I am out of all that we've been through to provide a qualitative presentation to you. Tina, good to see you. People are struggling with anxiety. People are struggling with depression. People are struggling with isolation because, for the most part, we have been used to kind of going when we want to go, do what we want to do, and we kind of laughed at other countries. Like I remember watching China and Japan, and even though those are very, very Minister Sarah, um, close environments, basically like New York, Atlanta, and different places like that. Um, we thought it was funny, to see them with their masks on, and we were like, "You got to be kidding me!" And all of a sudden, we have now found ourselves in a position that the very thing that we used to think was funny, Minister Marcia, isn't funny anymore. We were used to, like, if we wanted to get something to eat, get in our car, boom, go get it. We go to a restaurant, get in our car, boom, go sit down, have a meal, enjoy ourselves, do all of those things. Hey, Sean, how are you, sir? We were so used to just doing what we wanted to do, Marilyn. All of these things were happening. And now we're struggling because we have to distance ourselves. We can't hug each other now. People are suffering and going through changes, or even just to greet one another, just to say hi. How is everybody doing? All of these things that we paid absolutely no attention to have been removed from us. And in the midst of all of that, you yet still have this group of people who don't get the severity of what is actually taking place right now. There are people who are still doing all of these gatherings. They are still partying. They are still doing all of this stuff. And when the statistics came out that the prominent age group is between 22 to 29 now, oh my God, here it goes. Okay, good. It's not interrupted. And so in the midst of this, that's another thing. We can't fellowship with our children. We just went through Easter, could not have the family dinners, could not have the family fellowships, could not have the things that we were so accustomed to doing, because this is when it gave us an opportunity to touch base with each other, to love each other, to share with each other, to play games and to clown with each other, and do all of those things, and every bit of it was taken away. And then we get mad at the people who did it. We get mad at the people who said we can't do this anymore. We get an attitude. We sit back and say, well, you really can't tell me what to do because I'm grown. Well, that's okay. That's okay. We ain't got to tell you what to do, but the virus will tell you what to do, and the virus may rob you of your life. Cecile, it has changed us. But I'm wondering, and I'm getting this from Justin, who is the CEO of the school systems. I'm wondering if we are getting the message in the virus. I'm wondering, are we catching what God is saying, Paulette, in the virus? I'm wondering, in the midst of us complaining, hey, Gail, so much about what we can't do, or where we can't go, or what we can't participate in, are we missing the message? Are we missing, Terrence, what God is saying? Are we missing what the Lord is trying to tell us in the midst of all of this? And I must say that I believe that many are missing the message, because we, Nisi, are so busy complaining. We're so busy whining. We're so busy being bent out of shape of not being able to exercise the quote-unquote freedoms we think we have. Now that we're in a midst of restrictions, Apostle Jenkins, the problem is the message is trying to tell us something, but we're so busy complaining about what we can't do, we might be missing the message of this moment. And so rather than getting bent out of shape that you can't go to the mall, or you can't go to the show, Sabrina, that you can't go do what you're used to doing, Pastor Austin, that you can't go and experience the stuff, you can't be entertained now, you can't do this, you can't go to places and do stuff that you've been doing. All of that has been cut out. All of that has been terminated. All of that has been brought to an end. And so my question is, are you missing the message in the virus? And so in the midst of what's going on here, I believe that's why the Lord had me shift in another direction, so that I can get you to see that, and you may not understand this, but this virus isn't going anywhere. Until they develop a vaccine, which may be 8 months to 2 years down the road, this virus is not going anywhere. How am I going to change my disposition? How am I going to tell myself how? I mean, and I know I'm being redundant, and I'm probably saying the same thing over and over again. Hey, Keisha, I'm struggling just like you are. I don't want to be inside. I don't want to have to be confined. I want to be able to go where I want to go. I want to be able to talk to who I want to talk to. I want to be able to experience, Anna, what I want to experience. And the problem is, while I'm busy struggling with confinement, I'm missing out on the liberation that can only be found in the Word of God. Okay. I know, Sister Platt. Listen to what I'm saying. We've got to shift our focus from fussing to telling God, what are you saying? Sharing with God, what are you saying? And in the midst of talking to us, can we grasp the power of the message of the virus, that in the midst of the message is liberation, is freedom. It is the changing of one's perspective from being so self-centered and so self-consumed that we now begin to do some other things. We ain't never missed family like we missing them now. We took them for granted. Okay. We never missed some of the things that we're missing now. We took it for granted. In the midst of everything that's happening in our lives, we took so many things for granted. And can I go just a little bit further with this? Make sure you share. Get these other folk out here so they can catch what this message is. We took advantage of everybody, including the Lord. Okay, y'all ain't gonna like me. Y'all ain't Asanta. We have become so used to being free and liberated that we forgot that true liberation, true freedom, true happiness, true contentment is not found in our capability to go out and buy stuff and things and be entertaining. Okay. I'm going to go back here and say it again. We took advantage of our families. We took advantage of our liberty. We took advantage of us being able to go and come like we feel like it. We took advantage of our church attendance. We attended when we felt like it. We showed up when we felt like it. We worship maybe, or sometimes we so busy looking around at everybody else. And here's what we fail to understand is that now that it's been taken, we missing it. We posting stuff on Facebook talking about, ooh, when we get back to Union, we gonna cut up. Why didn't we cut up before we got isolated? Here's the thing. There's a message in the virus. I wish I had somebody out here that could catch what I said. There's a message in the virus. And I believe, and this is, I'm going to look at this text in just a minute, but I needed to get you to understand quite clearly that we've got to stop complaining about what we don't have. We have to quit looking at what we can't do. We've got to stop getting bent out of shape over being able to participate in things that we want to participate in, and start realizing where the sustenance, the supply, and the source of everything we have is found. Okay? Are y'all with me so far? Are y'all catching what I'm saying so far? This is overwhelmingly important for us to get. And in the midst of things being taken away from us, I need to know, do you recognize what you still have? Do you recognize what's still available to you? Do you recognize the opportunities that are still there? I'm going to get to the text in just a second, but I got to get with this. Where is your prayer life now? Where is your study now? Where is your commitment to God? It all has changed. Now, the only thing that has rescued some of us is a television. We can turn around and we can watch some shows and we can do some other stuff and we can do some stuff like that. But when you can't find nothing worthy of watching, When you can't find anything worthy of participating in, can God now have, rather than spare time, quality time? Oh, oh my God. Oh my God has given this virus to us because there's a message in the virus. And so I need to press on just a little bit before I get to the text. And I hope that I'm not boring you. I hope I'm not being too redundant. I hope I'm not to the point that you don't want to hear what I got to say, that you want to go on. So I need you to get this. I need you to comprehend what God is saying and why God is saying it. I need you to recognize that rather than you being miserable and bent out of shape over what you can't do, you need to recognize what you still can do. Okay? And this is overwhelmingly important for us to get to understand and to recognize. Because until you recognize that, you're going to miss out on the blessing and the power of the message, Erica. The message that God is trying to get across, Callie. The message that God is trying to get us to see, to comprehend, and to embrace is there's a message in the virus. Well, somebody might say, well, I heard what you said, and so where is the message? And I'm glad that you asked me that, because I want to share something with you. I want to share with you on today from Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5. You see y'all saying stuff, and y'all getting ready to make me digress. Belinda, you getting ready to make me say some stuff, because here I'm telling you right now. I have never enjoyed, Sarah, walking outside like I have now. I've never enjoyed just clowning around and having fun at home like I have now. I'm watching some old shows that I hadn't watched in I don't know how long now. But I can't touch my children. I can't touch my grandchildren. I can't touch my great-grandchildren. I can't fellowship with my neighbors. I can't fellowship. Now, here's where the rubber meets the road. I can't fellowship with the church family I love. And I'm going to tell y'all what happened, and I'm going to get to it. I'm going to tell you what, when the last homegoing celebration that we had, it gave me a chance to physically see a couple people. And the thing that was so amazing is how we realized how much we really did miss one another. I'm gonna let that sink in for just a second. I'm gonna let this sink in for just a second. There is so much now that I hear. That's right, Angie. There is no mandate against praying and talking to the Lord. But here's the problem. I want you to catch this. Here's the problem. There was no mandate before the virus. And we didn't care until we needed God to do something. Okay? That's right, Erica. Just to be able to sit out on your porch. Now, I know we can't do all of that right now because they got snow coming and all that other kind of stuff. But here's what I'm trying to get you to see. And you know what? It takes us back to a time in our history where we appreciated the little things in life. Okay, y'all really ain't ready for me tonight. We used to hear our parents, who did not have all this technology, who did not have YouTube and all these televisions and cable and all of the rest of that stuff, but it was little things that meant the world to them. It was being able to talk to their neighbors that meant the world to them. And God says, I'm going to place you back in a position where you don't have anybody but me. I'm going to get rid of your crutches. I'm going to get rid of your excuses. And I'm going to teach you that out of all you've been blessed with, and all the cars you have, and the places that you live, and the closets that are filled with clothes, Elder Gordon, out of all the stuff you've accumulated, I'm going to show you just who I am. So in this text, oh, bless his name, in this text, we find something fascinating. Now, we understand the context of the text is very clear, that the writer is talking to a young man and letting it be known that there are some things that you should do, and there are some things you should not forget. Oh, bless his name. Here's the problem. We have forgotten, but because of the message in the virus, we're being reintroduced. Y'all have to excuse me. I'm working hard, Erica. We are being reintroduced to the God of stuff, because for the most part, all he was the God of stuff, the God of things. And God says, I want to be your personal relationship, walk with, talk with, personal God in relationship with you. So in the midst of this, in the midst of this, out of all that the writer is saying, and letting this young man know that if you remember, in the midst of this, let me tell you what else happened. I know I'm digressing and regressing and all the rest of that stuff. I remember, Minister Philippe, the simplistic things that used to make me happy. I remember little things, because now we're so caught up in big things. I remember little things that used to put smile on my face. Little things. We got to remember. The text says we got to remember, because if we remember, it'll give length to our days. It will cause us not only to live longer, but it will also show us how to live happier, more content, and more concise when it comes down to who we are in the Lord. Because it's not good enough to live long. What makes long living worth living is when you know the giver of life in your life. When you recognize that without him you could do nothing. When you recognize that without him you couldn't make it. When you recognize that without him you wouldn't have been able to pay your bills or raise your children if it hadn't been for the Lord on your side. And so he says, here's what you need to do. You need to make sure that you remember, because it'll add peace to your life. Now, here's where we are struggling. That's right, Erica. We did forget where we came from. We have become so prosperous. We have become so erudite. We have become so important that we done forgot how we got here. And let me go into the history for just a second. Many of the doors that many of us have walked through, it was God that opened them, because other folk didn't want us there. I needed to let that marinate for just a moment. Some of the things that we've experienced in life, other folk didn't want us to have, and God opened the door. I remember the time when the family had one car. That's the only car they had. Now we ain't got enough room in garages for all that we have. We can buy what we want to buy. We can wear what we want to wear. We can travel. Listen, growing up in the Harrison household, I did not know what a vacation was. My parents never went on vacation. My parents never took us anywhere. And the last time I went somewhere was down in Huntsville, Alabama, and I told the Lord and everybody else I wasn't never going back down there again because it was on the farm. I don't remember my parents taking time off to take us anywhere. You know why? They didn't have the money to do it. And I started thinking about all the places we have taken our children and all of the things that we have done and all of the things we participate in, our family vacations and all of that kind of stuff. My mother and father never did that for us. But we had simplistic moments of joy. Let me press on. Let me press on. And so you got to remember when you do this, you'll find favor. You'll find favor and high esteem in the sight of God and in the sight of men. D, here's what people don't understand and here's what people aren't recognizing. God's favor got you to where you are right now. God's favor caused some great things to come into your life that for the most part our parents never enjoyed. God's favor blessed us. God's favor provided revenue so that we didn't get put outdoors. God's favor. And so in the midst of this, you will find favor in the sight of God. And when you have favor in the sight of God, then God will cause that favor of God to be transmuted into people, Geraldine, that will cause you to excel in things that other people, y'all better hold on to this, that other people who are more qualified than you can't get. That's right, Joyce. We did appreciate what we had because we didn't have that much. Juliet, don't get me started about this stimulus money. Okay? Don't get me started. I posted on Facebook. Now that we done got that little $1,200, how many people going to remember the Lord? Now that we done got that little check, how many people are going to remember to bless the Lord's house? I'm going to let that marinate for just a minute, because then I got that $1,200. It's like, oh, but now, let me tell you how strategic God is. Are y'all ready for this? Are you really ready for this? You can't spend it nowhere. Oh, I'm going to wait on you. Now, yeah, you can order some stuff online. You can, but you can't go do what you've been normally doing. You can't go to the mall. You can't go to the store. You can't do this. You can't go out to eat. You can't do none of those things right now with that stimulus money, but pay bills. And I'm going to throw something else in here. Honor God with it. Oh, I know y'all don't like me. I know y'all don't like me. I know y'all don't like me. I know that. I know y'all don't like me. I know y'all don't like what I'm saying, but I'm saying what I'm saying because it needs to be said. 12 for a married couple is $2,400. And what you gonna do? If the message of the, see, I know y'all dying off now. I know y'all dying off. If the message of the virus has not been clearly understood, you'd have had a mess on your hands. And it looks like, I pray that this thing does not cut up. I pray that it's still running. I'm praying that it's still operating. I'm praying that I'm still on, because my screen just went blank. But I'm going to keep pressing on. And if I don't do anything else, okay, I'm back. Glory to God. The devil is a liar. If we had not been on lockdown, there wouldn't have been that many people watching this Bible study because you'd be out shopping. But because there's a message in the virus, can I press on? Can I press on? Can I press on? Can I press on? Let's talk about this. The writer says, trust in the Lord. Now you didn't catch that, did you? The writer says, trust in the Lord. The writer says, trust in the Lord. Trust. To put your whole confidence in. Trust in the Lord. Trust in the Lord, elder. That's good. Trust in the Lord. Don't trust in your job, because guess what? Many of you may not have one. Don't trust in your own ingenuity. God has removed all of that because you can't figure your way out of this. Trust in the Lord. Trust in the Lord. And here's what you got to do. You got to trust him with all your heart. Now, what am I saying? You have to change your trust from your own ingenuity and human wisdom and transcend it into divine wisdom. Oh, what is wisdom? The appropriate use of knowledge. But divine wisdom, oh, bless his name, divine wisdom provides supernatural insight and ability above and beyond your present situation. Your whole heart, your whole being. The heart represents the seat of your emotions and the seat of your intellect and the seat of your will. Can I talk to y'all for just a few more moments, and then I'm going to let you go because I want to do something else. I have to control how I feel or what I think, because if I continue to look at my present position, it will change my trust. If I don't pay the Lord the appropriate attention that I should, it will change my outlook, and it will also change everything that I have trusted before. I have to learn how to keep my emotions under control. I have to learn how not to panic. I have to learn how not to get bent out of shape. I've got to learn how to not be controlled by what I see or what I sense, because the stabilizing factor in my life is not what I see, because I walk by faith and not by sight. The stabilizing factor that allows me to go through this transitional period of not knowing what tomorrow is going to bring is because of the deep-seated relationship that I have with the one who owns today and tomorrow. I need supernatural, super spiritual insight that will enable me to keep a smile on my face while everybody else is looking like they about ready to lose their mind. And it will stabilize me mentally, because I will understand clearly in him I live, I move, and I have my being. In him I am somebody. In him, I am blessed and highly favored. In him, I am the head and not the tail. So irregardless to what I see, I know who I am in him. Minister Rhonda, when I know it, now see, and you can, okay, I said this before and I need to say it again. I keep throwing my towel all over the place, so it's just got to stay on the floor right now. What enabled me to have confidence in my parents is because all of my life I recognized their provision. The reason that my children could have confidence in their mother and father is because we were good providers. Yeah, we were doggone good providers. And the reason we were good providers is because we sacrificed ourselves for the sake of our children. Okay? We did whatever was necessary to make sure that our children had what they needed, to the point that we did too much, but we did it anyway. Why? We had the same mentality that our parents did. We wanted our children to have more than they did. We did the same thing our parents did, to the point, Denise, that we gave them too much. And that's why we're in the condition that we're in, is because we are so spoiled and so rotten until we actually believe that everything we look at, we're supposed to be able to possess. And so in the midst of this, here's what you got to do. With all your heart, and here's what you've got to recognize and you got to understand clearly. You cannot lean to your own understanding. And let me tell you why it is dangerous to lean to your own understanding. You don't have the divine insight to know how to navigate life correctly. Okay. You don't know what the next millisecond is going to bring in your life. So it is difficult for you to navigate what's going to happen in the next moment, no less the next day, because of your limited insight. The reason that you can trust God in uncertain situations is because you are no longer leaning to your own psychological presuppositions of what you think life and living is really all about. Yeah, psychological presuppositions. Yes. What does that mean? I have presupposed what joy is. I have presupposed what happiness is. I have presupposed what contentment is. I have presupposed what it means to have a full and meaningful life, because my presuppositions are predicated upon the accumulation of things and stuff and activities and clothes and cars and travel. Oh my God. Pastor, if you don't never teach this thing. Yeah, I'm going to do the very best I know how. That's the problem with leaning to my own understanding, because here is how my understanding is tainted. And I know some of y'all not going to own up to this. Some of you are not going to say this is true. Some of you are not going to say that's me. But sometimes in the body of Christ, we get jealous, we get envious over the things that other people have. We get upset because somebody is wearing something we can't wear. We get upset because somebody is driving something we can't drive. We get upset because somebody's living where we can't live. We get upset because somebody's able to do something that you can't do. We get upset over the financial revenue that's in somebody else's life that's not in ours. We get upset when we see other people appear to be prospering above and beyond where we are right now. We get upset with people because we are so busy comparing who we are to somebody else rather than comparing ourselves to Jesus, who is the author and finisher of our faith. Jesus was clear on this. Jesus was crystal clear about worrying about tomorrow, about being bent out of shape over what you don't have. He said, look at the lilies of the field. He says, look at all of these things that I care for. How much more will I do for you, O ye of little faith? Oh, can I teach this? Charlotte, here's what people don't recognize and understand is when I lean to my own understanding, I am leaning to that which I have presupposed is truth and happiness and joy. That's why folk can't stop drinking. That's why people can't stop getting high. That's why people can't stop other activities that are taking place in their life, because they are trying through their own limited presuppositions of what life is really all about. They have determined that without the ingestion or the participation in something else to initiate what real joy, contentment, and happiness is, I'm not happy without it. Not realizing that the author and finisher of our faith is on the inside of us, showing what real life is all about. Oh my God, I'm trying to calm myself down. And the problem is I'm leaning to my own understanding. I think I'm too intelligent. I've been to school, and ain't nothing wrong with education. Everybody needs some education. I've done some things, I've accomplished some things, I got some stuff, I'm going places, and in the midst of going places, what are you really accomplishing? Oh my God, let me calm down, let me calm down, let me calm down, because I done got beside myself, I done got wound up. Now in the midst of this, I have messed up my life, messed up my family, messed up my relationships by leaning to my own understanding. I have observed through shaded and dim and distorted perceptions of what real life and joy is by measuring what joy and contentment is according to what I see other people enjoying more than what I have. And so here's my problem. Here's where my problem comes in. I have tried to do it, and we singing Frank Sinatra's song, I did it my way. Can I ask a question? And don't put it out there, because you know somebody might say, I knew something was wrong with him. How many times has my way caused you to call on Yahweh? Ooh, God, how many times has my way caused me to call on Jehovah? How many times in leaning to my own understanding, I have had to demean, diminish, and reduce myself to come before the Lord and say, can you bail me out again? The writer of the text says, if I want to live full, that's full gospel. If I want, that's right, we all look through a glass darkly. And Pastor, here's the problem. We like looking through glasses darkly because for whatever reason we actually think we can see. And every time we move in that direction, the God we negated is the God we call on to bail us out of our own ingenuities. It says here, let me move on. In all your ways, acknowledge him. In all your ways, you have to train yourself. Okay, here we go. Just like we are going to have to train ourselves on how to live differently. We've got to train ourselves to acknowledge him in all our ways. Now somebody might say, well, how do you do that? I'm glad that you asked me. Instead of saying minds, this is minds, my mind, minds, I have to train myself to say, the Lord provided this for me. Now, somebody might say, well, I'm making a payment on it. If God didn't wake you up and give you cognition of existence, you would not have a job to go to earn the money to pay for what you have. So it's the Lord's doing, and it's marvelous in our eyes. Wherever you live, whether it's the projects or out in the suburbs, look what the Lord has done. At least I got a roof over the Lord has provided food on my table. See, we used to laugh at that stuff when old folk used to say that. The Lord done put a roof over my head and food on my table and clothes on my back. Guess what? Those people knew exactly what they were talking about. Even though they went to work, even though they brought home a check, they understood it was the Lord that did it. The Lord, I'm going to the grocery store. What? The Lord done provided me some revenue so I can go buy some groceries. Woo! See, but we can't do that because then we become Jesus freaks. Oh, it don't take all of that. You ain't got to say that. You ain't got to tell everybody that the Lord did this, the Lord did. Don't you know there's a whole lot of folk on respirators? Don't you know there's a whole lot of people in ICU? Don't you know there's a whole lot of folk that wish they could say it's the Lord's doing? And we done got so bougie and so cute, so sophisticated and so uppity that we don't want to acknowledge that what we have was a gift of God. Do you hear the message in the virus? In all your ways, acknowledge Him, and He will direct your paths, plural. I'm going to calm down now. I'm going to calm down. I'm going to calm down. I'm going to calm down. Whatever path you take, when it says that He will direct your path, in the Hebrew, He's saying He will make your path straight. Now, let me tell you the danger in crookedness. Oh, bless His name. A straight path takes less energy and effort. A straight path provides clarity from obstructions. Because when I take the wrong or the crooked path, there are things I can't see that are hidden from me because of the obstructions that happen in crookedness. I can get blindsided in crookedness. I can be taken advantage of in crookedness. I can find myself wasting a lot of my life in crookedness. He says, if I acknowledge Him in all my ways, He'll make my path straight. Which means all obstructions are gone. All obstacles are gone. And if there's anything in the road, I can see it before I roll right up on it. Oh, have you ever drove and you're on a curve and there might be something in the road, and the next thing you know, you don't see it until you're right up on it? But if you're on a straight path, you can see it in the road afar off. Oh, teach, Pastor. And what you can do is, because you can see it up front at a further distance, you can change your path of navigation. And so rather than running upon it, you can go into another lane, or you can figure out how to go around it so it don't tear up your car or tear up your tire. I wish I had somebody. How many times have we tore up our life because we didn't see the stuff in the road? He says, in all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight. And whatever obstacles come in the way, whatever things pop up, you'll be able to see it, you'll be able to navigate it, and you'll be able to overcome it because you already know how to change your trajectory when you see the obstacle in the road. That's all I wanted to say on tonight. That's all I wanted to say tonight. I wanted you to get these nuggets that the Lord gave me. And so quit fussing, quit whining, quit getting bent out of shape, quit crying, woe is me. Begin to bless the Lord for where you are. Begin to bless the Lord for what you have. Begin to bless the Lord that you're still in your right mind. Yes, we can't get out like we used to. No, we can't go places. Begin to absorb ourselves in other things, simpler things that used to mean so much to us. Listen, and I'm going to get out of here. I love you. Thank you for permitting me to be with you, to share with you what the Lord has given me. I pray that what you have received tonight will encourage you, will strengthen you, will fortify you, will change your trajectory from getting crooked to going straight. And I believe that if you get the message in the virus, God will bless you coming in and bless you going out. Stay strong and in the power of his might, and God will see you through. May God bless you. And may God keep you is our prayer.